Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Dash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this lesson is going to be titled something along the lines that we are the seeds of greatness. And when I say that, I'm speaking about our forefathers, who were great men of renown, men who have had the most accomplishes and the greatest accomplishes amongst any other nation. Okay, amazing things you would have thought you could only see in a movie, that would only be in science fiction films. Our forefathers have done these things, okay, through the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, who is our power, So, as the scripture says, I could do all things through Yahweh Shai Mashiach, whom strengtheneth me. Okay, our forefathers have done everything, all right, through the power of Yahweh, which is the power source. Okay, and they have done great works, and these are things that we're not taught about in school, because Esau wants to make sure that you Jakes, you Israelites, especially of the kingdom of Judah, but all of you Israelites, okay, have a low self-esteem. And the reason is because, as Rafiki said in Lion King, you don't even know who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know who your forefathers were and what they've done. All you know is what you were taught. Okay? So I'm going to go into some of these scriptures dealing with our forefathers, which were great men of renown. Okay? Especially dealing with the righteous. Especially the righteous. Okay, this is Genesis 6. And I'll start at verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now the daughters of men are dealing with the heathen, okay, the other nations, the strangers. Now the sons of God are dealing with the lineage of the sons of God, which later on it became the Israelites. But at this time, this was before the flood, so the Israelites were not created as of yet. Okay, but these are still our forefathers, because these are the sons of God. The Israelites are the only sons of God left on the planet Earth. Okay? It says, and Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. And this is when the Lord started to break down, break down the days of how long men lived. Okay, because it used to be, 800, 900, some odd years was the average. But the Lord broke it down to 120 years. Okay. There were giants in the earth in those days. And that wasn't speaking about giants as in physical giants. Okay, I'm going to go into that word. It says, and also after that, when the sons of the Most High came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. These are our forefathers. Okay. Now, in order to understand the Bible, you have to understand reincarnation. Okay. Reincarnation is biblical. Nations were also reincarnated. Okay. Now, the sons of the wicked, or the sons of Cain, were reincarnated after the flood, going down the line of Shem through Isaac, okay, through Abraham, then Isaac, and through the Edomites. The Edomites, Esau is the forefather of the wicked. Okay, that is the reincarnation of Cain back on the planet Earth. Okay. And the sons of the righteous were reincarnated as the Israelites. Yasha Allah, he is a prince of God, aka a son of God. Now, looking into this word giantess, Napayala. This is where you get Nephilim, the word Nephilim from Napayala. Okay, they translate this into English as the Nephilim. Now it says a feller, properly a feller, a bully or tyrant, and it doesn't mean that in this context. Okay, it says the words. It says the giant in the sky, the constellation Orion, plural, the greater constellations. Okay, which that should remind you of what of cosmos, a specific group. But anyways, it says gig, cast, render, great, large in body, but this is incorrect. It's not dealing with large in body. Okay, you see, great, large in body, but this is incorrect, for it means excellent, noble, skillful. See, our forefathers were excellent. They were noble. They were skillful. I prefer with the Hebrew intercepts, fallen one attacking so that is of intransitive signification. Excuse me. So, anyways, the word that I'm looking for is excellent, noble, and skillful. Okay, now let's look up the word excellent. I have to get Psalms 62 as well. Okay, I can't even click on that. Okay, so let's go straight to Psalm 62. Okay, and then we'll look up those words in a second. Okay, this is Psalm 62. In verse 4, it says, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. This is speaking about us as Israelites. They want to cast the sons of God down from their excellency. And they've done that. Okay? They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. Okay? But the Lord is about to raise us back up and give us back that excellency as in the days of old. Okay? And really, he's going to surpass the days of old. Let's go to the meaning of excellency. It says a title given to certain high officials of state, especially ambassadors of the Roman Catholic Church, or used in addressing them. An outstanding feature or quality. Okay, us as Israelites, we have outstanding features and outstanding qualities. Okay, now we are highborn. Okay, we are highborn. When someone is highborn, that means they're of noble stock. Okay, let's look up the word noble. Okay, and this is why it says that when it's dealing with excellency, it says it's given to high officials. We are naturally high officials as Israelites. Okay, Esau has made himself a high official in his society, but he is actually not a high official in the spirit. Okay. It says noble, belonging to a hereditary meaning is based upon lineage, okay, through your father. Class with high social or political status. Aristocrat, excuse me. When you look into the etymology of the word aristocrat, it means fit to rule, okay? We are the only ones that are fit to rule, the Israelites, the sons of the Most High, the sons of the Most High power. Having or showing fine personal qualities or high moral principles. And we are the nation with the high moral principles because the Most High has given his laws to us. Not only that, but he's put a portion of his laws in our spirit, okay, and ideals. That's why the scripture says that the Gentiles are a law unto themselves. That's speaking about the Israelites that have fallen away. Meaning what? That they do things according to the law, even though they were without the law. Okay? It says, especially in former times, a person of noble rank or birth. Okay? like I said, Esau, the Edomites are not of noble stock. Okay, they have supplanted, the noble seat, and that's why you have King Charles and these individuals who are not even of the original royal families of Europe. Okay, not through their fathers. Okay, their forefathers go back to the Edomites. The original rulers of Europe, those were Israelites. Those were Jake. Okay, those were so-called black people. Okay, and they recently just did a movie, or they're doing a movie on was it Queen Charlotte, which was a Jake, a so-called black woman. She was of the original lineage of the Israelite nobility. Okay, but her husband was an Edomite, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it says, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. Now the rich is dealing with the aristocracy, the nobles, the princes. Okay, I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. See, this is a vision. Okay, this is a vision. This is a prophecy that King Solomon is pushing forth, saying, listen, man, I could see that the princes are going to be sitting in a low place, and these peasants are going to be in the position of rulership, sitting upon a horse, which represents rulership. Okay, so guess what? This is where we're at now. Okay, now going to the nobility. Let's go back to the ancient nobility of Europe. Right, this image here, these are the nobles of Europe, the original nobles of Europe. All these great things you hear, the greatest acts you hear is coming from people that look like this, which are Israelites. Going back to history, the knights and all these different things, all that culture of the knights and chess and the coats of arms and the yes my lord and this culture that you see in these ancient movies came from us. It didn't come from the Edomites. The Edomites just inserted themselves in there. Okay? The dancing the walls and all those different dances, those elegant dances, the classical music, that all came from us. That all came from the nobility. The Israelite nobility. Okay? You see? When you look in the books, they might call them, Africans. No. See, look, black African nobility. No. We're Israelite. The Israelite nobility. The Israelite nobility. And this is why when you look at the coats of arms, you'll see what? You'll see a lion. You'll see a hind, okay, which is dealing with who's that? Naphtali. Okay, you got a wolf dealing with you got wolves dealing with Benjamin. You got different signs going back to the unicorn, going back to the scriptures. So these are all things that us as Israelites are doing. See, this is a correct image of what the nobility would look like. Some of the nobles, this would be like the noblemen, and these would be the daughters of nobility, the princesses. Okay? See? Which this is not coming from ancient. Maybe around the 1800s, maybe around the 1800s or something like that. But no, obviously this is a recent picture, but I'm saying they're dressing as if they were in the 1800s. So, but ultimately, going back way further than that, pre-Renaissance period, our people were ruling. Our people were ruling. King Henry and things of that nature. Those were Israelites. And when you watch the movie The Tudors, okay. In fact, let's pull that up. The Tudors. King Henry in this movie, which this is King Henry, it's supposed to be King Henry, I believe the 8th. And he made a statement. He said something happened. I don't remember exactly what happened. He said, this threatens the rulership of Judah. This threatens the rulership of Judah. Okay, of the line of Judah. Knowing, meaning what? That he knew he was of the line of Judah. It was like a very quick scene. All right, but he said it, and I caught it, and I said, because what Esau knows that we're Israelites. Esau knows that the rulers of ancient Europe were Israelites, which were what? So-called black men. Okay. So anyways, Salakia for the rant, Salakia for going into such a long rant. So let's go back. Okay, let's go back. So this is dealing with the highborn. This is dealing with the excellency. Okay. This is what they wanted to cast us down from. They wanted to cast us down from this excellency, this nobility that we have inherently as Israelites. Okay, let's get Deuteronomy 7 and 6. And you should walk around the earth as if you are noble, as if you are the sons of these men, and not as if you are sons of heathen, or sons of servants or peasants. Even the Lord asks that. Or is Jacob a homeborn slave? The answer is no. You're not supposed to be. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Let's look up this word holy. It should be Kodash. Okay. Yep. The word is Kodash. And it says, the definition, holy, sacred, holy, saint. Okay. So the only saints are who? Are the Israelites. Okay, Mother Teresa was not a saint because she was not an Israelite. She was an Edomite. Pure, clean, free from defilement of crimes, idolatry, and other unclean and profane things. So to be holy means to be separate, meaning to be clean. Okay? Pure. Okay? See, so we're supposed to be of that pure people, that pure stock. You go into the etymology of Kodash. It says, set apart, be consecrated, to be hallowed, right? To be set aside, to be, okay, this is special. Okay, this is something special. This is not like the others. Okay? Now, matter of fact, you go to, let's go to 2nd Ezra. Okay. Oh, please, yes. Let's go to Second Ezra 6 and 54. It says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Okay, so we all come from Adam, but there's also a chosen people which were set apart, a holy people, which is us. Okay, the Israelites. It says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. See, the world was made with the Israelites in mind. The Israelites were not made with the world in mind. The world was made for the Israelites in mind, and that includes all the people on it. Okay, so what is it? So what kind of demon do you have on you to walk around with some low self-esteem? Especially since you know this truth, man. Okay, pick your chin up, okay, and walk as a son of renowned men. Okay. Yes, we walk in humility, absolutely. But being humble doesn't mean that you bow down to a dog. That's not being humble. Being humble doesn't mean you give reverence to your cat. All right. You have to understand we are highborn, and you are supposed to walk as such, because what, we're in this kingdom, okay, that we know is really a temporary kingdom. All right, we know this is a temporary kingdom. We know our kingdom is next. So how much confidence are you supposed to walk with, man? It says, as for the other people which also come of Adam, and thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. So are we supposed to be bowing down to these people? No. And this is how Jake, I don't bow down and worship them. No, but Jake, in the spirit, they do. There's a scripture that says, they have said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over. In the spirit, Jake does that. And you go watch how these Jakes act when Esau comes around, and how Esau could talk to them, and and how they humbled down. And I'm just talking about regular, just go to a bar, go to a regular setting, to a restaurant, and see how Esau, how Jake acts with Esau. They get a smile on their face, they start talking high pitch, right? But when Jake comes around, they got a scowl on their face. See, me, I'm the opposite. When I go to these Edomites, and these Edomites, they get offended. They get kind of like, whoa, they get thrown back the way I talk to them. All right? Because I talk with authority. All right? It says, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Because when you go to these certain places, these Edomites will push themselves on you. They'll intrude, they'll want to touch you and all these different things. And I say, listen, first of all, calm down. All right? The Edomite will get you a shot. I said, no, I'm not taking no shot. Oh, no, come on, take a shot. I said, yo, what did I just say? I said, I'm not taking no shot. Okay? I said, I'm not. I already told you. I already spoke, man. I don't have to say anything else, man. Okay? And the Edomite will look, oh my goodness. You understand? And I'll be like, oh my. And they'll be shocked. And then his woman will see how I'm talking to him. Okay? All right? And the other Edomites will see it. The other Jakes will see it. And Jake is surprised. Because they're used to Jake bowing down their soul to them. Okay? Especially those type of abrasive, those kind of rough, abrasive type Edomites. Nah, bro. I don't play that, man. I don't play that. Right? Because I know who I am. I know who you are. Okay? Yes, there's time when we have to use guile and wisdom. Paul used guile and wisdom, right? When he was speaking to Agrippa, right? He used guile and wisdom. You see? He said, I wish that thou wert a Christian. Why? Because he was in a particular situation. Certain situations we're going to have to play that game. Certain situations King David played that game. Certain situations King David acted like he was retarded. Which the word retarded just means slow, okay? In French it means retard. That's how you say late. In French, je suis en retard. That means I'm late. Whether you're going to an event or whatever the case may be. So yeah, sometimes we have to play the game. But in a normal setting, you should know who you are, man. You should walk as if you know who you are. And when you speak at the camp too, man, especially at the camp, and you prophesy, you need to prophesy like you believe what you're saying. Some brothers prophesying like, I wonder if this is the truth. You need to prophesy like you believe what you're speaking, man. Salakia, did I even finish that? Right, yeah, I did finish that. Okay, so there's a separation between the sons of the Most High and the sons of the heathen. Now let's go into this, man. These are some of the mighty men of King David. The mighty men of King David, man. This is 2 Samuel 23:8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachmonite, that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino, the Eznite. He lift up his spear against 800. Let me read that again. He lift up his spear against 800 whom he slew at one time. This is like, and if you would do a movie about this, which show you Esau is not into the scriptures like that. He doesn't believe in the Bible. He doesn't like the Bible. How much movies could you have done on King David and his mighty men? Okay? But anyways, he slew 800 men at one time. That is likened unto a superhero. Let's look up 800 people gathered together. Let's look up we're going to look at it. We're going to actually look at the visual of 800 people gathered together. Try to find something the closest I think I could find to 800 people. Try to find the closest thing I could find. Or let's type in 1,000 people, because 800 is just 200 short of 1,000. Okay, 800 is 200 short of 1,000. Let's type in 1,000 people. Let's go here. So this supposedly is roughly 1,000 people. Salakia. This supposedly is roughly 1,000 people. Let's get this picture in a new tab, just to give you a visual of what one man ran through and put to death. One of our forefathers ran through. This is the amount of people, all running towards him, all attacking, and he went through them all at once. At one time, he put them to death. These were the type of great warriors and the power that they had, and the great works they did through the power of Yahweh. Right? So what can't you do through the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai? The scripture says, I can do all things through Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, who strengtheneth me, man. You have to believe that, man. Do you understand this is a real event that happened, man? Let me read this again, man, because I don't think brothers understand this is a real event that happened. These things that I'm about to read are real accounts. Okay? It says, these be the names of the mighty men whom David had, the Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino, the Eznite. He lift up his spear with a spear against 800 who he slew at one time. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, one of the three mighty men with David, when they defied the Philistines that were there gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hands was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. And Yahweh wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil. Right, because he took all the people out, so all they had left was the spoil. He took them out, and he was so valiant with it, and so diligent with it, and zealous with it, that his hand clave to the, like, you had to damn near ply his hand off of the sword, man. You had to use pliers damn near to take his hand off of the sword. That's how heavy that spirit was on him, man. You see the mighty works that we brought forth through our power. It says, and after him was Shammah, the son of Agi, the Hararite, and the Philistines were gathered together into a troop, where was a piece of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines, but he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it. See, these were men of honor, men of courage, okay, men that did not fear. And that's why the Lord said, what? He that believeth not shall not be defended. But those that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, they'll be defended. They'll be protected. You have to have this type of courage, this type of bravery, man, in the spirit, man. He says, but he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it and slew the Philistines, and Yahweh wrought a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chief went down and came to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam, and the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in an hold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, oh, that one give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. Which that water was, the fruit used to fall into that water off of particular trees, and that water had a sweetness to it. That's why David was asking for that water. It had a particular flavor to it. It said, and the 3 mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem. So there was 3 men that said, listen, man, you know what? We're gonna break through it, and we're gonna give our Lord to drink. Okay, we're gonna break through these armies to go get the water for King David so he can drink. And first of all, that's some great love, but that's extremely brave. So these men, they loved war. Okay, the Lord put it in their spirit to love war, which you have to love what you do to be great at it. Okay, it says that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto Yahweh. Why? Because he had so much honor, right, and love for the Most High. He said, listen, I'm not even going to drink this. I'm going to pour it out to you as an offering because of the great feat that these men have done. See, this is the honor of it. He didn't say, oh, yes, oh, goodness, I couldn't wait to drink it. Go. Nah, man. Our forefathers had honor, man. Okay? It said, and he said, be it far from me, O Yahweh, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore, he would not drink it. These things did these 3 mighty men. And Abishai, the son of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, okay, was chief among 3. And he lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them, and had the name among 3. Was he not most honorable of 3? Therefore he was their captain. Howbeit he attained not unto the first 3. Okay, give me a second. Let me see what that says in the NLT. Okay, verse 19. It said Abishai was the most famous of the 30, and was their commander, though he was not one of the 3. Okay, so Abishai. Okay, let me read this from here. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, was the leader of 30. I thought it said 3. Okay, so the leader of 30. Maybe I was reading it wrong. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. It was such feats that he became as famous as the 3. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the 3, right? The 3 highest ranking men. There was also Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which included killing 2 champions of Moab. Another time, on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Right, he put a lion to death that was in a pit in a snowy day. Okay, so these were great warriors. These were men, and that's why it said that these were men that you didn't want to mess with. Okay, you looked at them and you got scared. You know, because the scriptures say that they were also chafe in the spirit. You could just imagine this type of spirit you have to be in to do these certain things that they're doing. It said, once armed only with a club, he killed a great Egyptian warrior who was armed with a spear. Right? But when you read the KJV, it says he was goodly. It didn't mean that he looked good. He was a handsome warrior. No, it mean he was a great warrior. Okay? Armed with a spear, Benaiah wrenched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with it. Deeds like these made Benaiah as famous as the 3 mightiest warriors. He was more honored than the other members of the 30, though he was not one of the 3. See, the three who had the most honor. The 3 were the closest unto David, and David made him captain of his bodyguard. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So these are some great acts, and there's many, many more acts that our forefathers have done. Okay, let's deal with the let's deal with the 300. You know, let's deal with the 300. Okay. And this is far before the Spartans, okay? Which the Spartans were Israelites as well. Okay, those were so-called black men. Those were Israelites. All right, the Lacedaemonians. Okay, those were Israelites. It says let's go down to the 5th verse. It says, so he brought. Now, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 4. It says, and Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. And I'm just thinking of something, man. The ones that died in battle, most likely, for the most part, were men. I'm talking in general in the battles that the Lord that we had, you know, were men that did not fully believe. The ones that had that full faith. See, because the battle is not won necessarily by strength, okay, and it's not always won necessarily by skill, all right, but because Yahweh Shai deliver these individuals into your hands, okay. And if you have a particular faith, like for example King David, he had that faith in the Most High Yahweh Shai. He picked up that rock, put it in that sling, pulled it back, and it did exactly what he intended it to do through the Spirit. Not because he was tried in war, but because he believed. You see, this is the power of belief. This is the power of faith. When Yahweh Shai healed somebody, he said, thy faith hath made thee whole. This is the power of faith, and this is why we have to get to another level of faith. It says, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee, and whosoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink, and the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300. Okay. Okay, it says, but all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink. Okay, so ultimately, so the Lord put in their spirit to drink the water like a dog, right? And those were the men, and that was a sign of the men that he would take with him to battle. The other ones would stay. One of the first things he did to cut down the number was say to put to the ones that are fearful. Whoever's fearful, tell them to go back. Okay? Why? Because the fearful-hearted, man, you're not going to be defended. So why do you need to be there? That was the Lord trimming off the fat. It said, and Yahweh said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets. And he sent all the listen, Mike Tyson even speaks, right? Mike Tyson is fearless. He even says before every fight he was scared. Before every fight he was fearful. And it's, that feeling that goes from your heart to your gut. So he still had fear in his heart as great of a fighter that he was. As great as a fighter that he was, he had fear in his heart, even in his prime. He said that. Okay? So imagine a mighty man with no fear. He doesn't even get that feeling of something going to his gut because he trusts in the Most High so much. He trusts in Yahweh Shai so much. There's nothing you could do with a guy like that. Absolutely nothing you could do with a dude like that. Nothing you can do with men like that. It says, so the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets. And he sent all the rest of Israel, every man, unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But see, he's basically, the Lord said the victory is already won. The victory is already won. Before they even picked up the sword, right? The victory has already been won. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Phurah thy servant down to the host, and thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward shalt thine hands be strengthened. Right? Because listen, you want to get all that fear out. If you're still a little bit fearful, go down there and listen to what they say. Okay? And thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host, and the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand of the sea, the sand of the seaside for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. And his fellow answered and said, this is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel, for into his hand hath the Most High delivered Midian and all the host. Oh man, and this is what the Midianites were saying. All right, so the Lord was breaking down their confidence while he was building up our confidence. Okay, because when you go in a fight and you're fearful, the more fearful you are, the less good you're gonna do. All right. It says, and he divided the 300. Okay, matter of fact, I'll start. I was here. It says, okay, right. Verse 15. It says, and it was so when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel, and said, arise, for Yahweh hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do. When I blow with a trumpet, I and all that are with me. Then blow ye the trumpet also every on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and this was all psychological. What they were doing here was psychological with the trumpets. Okay, it says, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 300 and the 3 companies blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands, to blow withal. And they cried, the sword of the Lord and Gideon and of Gideon. Okay, and they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. See, because this was all psychological. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. And the host fled to Bethshita in Zererath, and to the border of Abel Meholah unto Tabath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Bethbara and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Bethbara and Jordan. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeeb they slew at the winepress of Zeeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan. Right, so long story short, they destroyed them. They destroyed the Midianites with 300 men. And that was brought through Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and you don't know how the Lord is going to work and what the Lord is going to put in people's spirits, right? That you are delivered from the times to come. But the main thing is, you cannot fear. You have to be valiant in the spirit, as our forefathers were. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. We are the seeds of greatness, and don't you forget that, man. With that, I'll say shalom.